Okay, I have been approached by a team of engineering students at a university that is designing and building a horticultural agrivoltaics solar array for a local public school, which is incredible. I'm enthusiastic about this kind of use of solar. Anyway, they're asked me to help them figure out how much shade the crop beds beneath the solar modules are going to experience with different configurations of arrays. So let's do that. And we're going to use this software called Scanifly. Let's get started. The first thing I'll do is add a dummy segment basically beneath where the solar arrays are going to be. This is going to represent the crop beds. So probably bigger than it needs to be. And we're going to give it a height of 0. Yes, just like that. And I'm going to shrink it a little bit to save time on computation. All right, how does that look? And let's rename this crop beds. We're going to give it an array. It's going to be called ground mount, 0-degree tilt. The height will be the height that the plant beds actually are, or even a little higher to represent the leaves of the crops. I'm going to give it 120 centimeters. This number that you choose is going to affect the outcome for sure. But let's pick some very small. You could even make your own module that's really tiny, but I think this is fine. And no spacing whatsoever. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. Looks like that. Prop beds. And let's go ahead and generate view sheds for this and just have that running in the background. All right, the next thing we need is to put the solar arrays in. So add a second segment. Let's draw that. And it's going to look something like this. This is their current sort of concept. And it's also going to have a height of 0. Okay, done. And we're going to give that an array. These are, I think they're using 4 to 85 modules. These are going to be in portrait and with some row spacing of like 1 meter. Okay. And a height, which will be for them to comfortably walk under. That's like 210. Why can't I see it? That's why. All right, cool. It's going to look like that. Turn on parallel here. They could probably be a little bit more spaced apart. 1.2. There we go. Oh, and they need a tilt. 10. Yeah, and this azimuth 160. That's better. All right, now it looks like they're above the crop beds. Yep. Now, basically, all we have to do is go look at the shading on our other bed. So there we go. It's already calculated for us in the background. And you can mouse over and take a look at, let's turn off this array entirely. Take a look at what kind of shading a plant in these beds would experience. Okay, so this is one of the worst ones. It's experiencing, well, it's going to experience 12% of its normal annual sunshine in this location. 20%, 15%. And you can see that the ones, I'll turn this array back on, the ones that are more to the north of the arrays actually get more shading. So like this, the north edge of this is really heavily shaded, 13%, but the center is maybe not as bad of the plant bed. And that's just because the sun's coming in from the south a lot of the time, right? And that's kind of your answer. So maybe you would plant crops that prefer more sun toward the outer edges and in the center. Now, as I said, I'm going to show you at least one other tool, which is the simulate shade. And we're going to choose some sort of summer day. And we're going to show you what a day of shading looks like. Looks like that. Let me turn off the... So this is what the shading would look like on the ground beneath these solar modules. And you can get a feel for why the southern half of the bed is actually receiving a lot more light than the northern half, especially during the summer. How true is that in the winter? It's actually more true in the winter, right? Because of the lower solar altitude. And let's see, now that we've done that, I'm going to test a couple other configurations. So the first thing is, what if the crop bed were lower? So let's just do that. Let's set that to 20 instead. We'll let the shade recalculate. And you should be able to already see that it's nowhere near as bad. I don't see anything in the black here. 35%, 42%. And then the other thing that we're noticing is that it's more homogeneous. So it's less concentrated, less concentrated under individual modules and more spread out evenly, the higher. And similarly, we could raise the distance of the array as well. What if it was actually 275 centimeters? Right, the higher you raise this, the more homogeneous the shading effect is going to be, and the less intense. So that would look something like this. And then finally, what if we actually just put this all together? So let's take this to a, say, 5-degree tilt and went 3 up. I guess it's 4 up at this point. All right, what if it looked like that? So now we're getting some serious shade under here, but still nothing in the black, 28%, 27%. So the height of the array above the crop beds is really important. That's my lesson for today. This is really cool. We're kind of learning together. This is a summer day, late spring day, really. Oh, one more thing to keep in mind is that the actual sunlight received by these crops should be a little bit greater than that, because we do have reflected light, which I don't think Scanifly is showing us in these simulations. Scanifly can do bifacial modules, but it's not showing up here. So yeah, we have some light albedo here. We're going to see some reflection bouncing off these modules. The modules themselves have a tiny bit of transmissivity, like 1%. That's not being modeled either. So the numbers here should be a little bit higher, but I think we've learned a lot here. Okay.